Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. And thank you, YouTube. Thank you, all subscribers, viewers, and supporters of this channel. Environmental performance evaluation is one of the most important and latest niche in the implementation and the sustenance of environmental management system ISO 14001. How do we do it? Well, we are referring to ISO 14031, which is used as a tool in our ISO 14001. So before we go on, I implore myself and all my fellow Muslim brothers and sisters, please do not watch this video if you're already in the mosque for the Friday prayer khutbah and perhaps attending religious lessons anywhere in the world, anytime with a scholar. I appreciate that so much. Shut off this video. Don't look at this. Thank you very much. I wish you Jannah tonight. Right, let us go on. We are still talking about the activity diesel transfer. An outsourced contractor for this company comes into the premise and unload fuel from its tank to the factory's diesel storage tank on a regular basis, monthly. All right. As we know, it's a normal operation. Now we have done all, well, not all, all selected environmental aspects for this video, for this education program. And my respect to your fellow, your respective consultants and trainers. Those are my fellow consultants and trainers. Please seek their advice and their help to go in depth from what we have over here. Now, we are still talking about the diesel transfer activity, where we have done the evaluation for all the important environmental aspects, impact evaluation criteria. This is done. Now it's time to look at the environmental performance evaluation for this activity. So we have to recap again and again to ensure, especially myself and your good self, that our understanding of the environmental management system ISO 14001 is on track. Okay, now what we are doing here is still in this particular phase. We are still here. Look, aspects, impact evaluation. This is among the most important and crucial steps. As you could see, a summarized chronology of the implementation of ISO 14001 is given before you. We have done identification of environmental aspect. What is this process called? Initial environmental review. This is done for companies who are about to adapt to the ISO 14001 version 2015. Please do a thorough initial environmental review so that you don't go wrong along the way, and we minimize the risk of reworking your environmental aspects, and when we do audit, there's a lot of issues in this particular area. That is why I'm so concerned. We got to do it right the first time. All right. Now we are still over here, the identification of significant environmental aspects by means of evaluating all the environmental aspects that we have done, we have identified throughout the process called initial environmental review. Once we have that done, we got to understand, why are we doing it? We need to know which of our environmental aspects are significant in order to prioritize. What for? Well, definition. of Environmental Management System, ISO 14001, states that environmental management system manages environmental aspects. How? By fulfilling compliance obligations and addressing what? Risk and opportunities. Correct. You're good. Now, that is what environmental management system is about, managing environmental aspects. And what are environmental aspects? They are elements of our organization's activities, products, and services that interact or can interact with the environment. So what's the fuss? What's the fuss about the interaction? The interaction of environmental aspects with the environment shall eventually, subsequently cause corresponding forms of environmental impacts, and some of them are severe, significant, very significant. Some of them are less. That is why we have got to evaluate our environmental aspects impact to see whether the impact from these environmental aspects are significant or moderately significant or less significant or not significant at all. So we use numeric for that, okay? So once we have all this list of environmental aspects and knowing which are our significant environmental aspects, then we know this company will have in front of them the understanding what the company is dealing with as far as managing environmental aspects is concerned vis-a-vis environmental management system. Environmental management. So the company knows or perhaps would be able to anticipate which aspect, what kind of methodology of management, how to manage them. Do we need additional budget? Do we need employee training? Do we need exclusive equipment? Do we need some innovation? Can we recycle? Is there any opportunity for on-site recycling? Can we convert our environmental aspects to renewed resources? These are things that would benefit companies as far as sustainable business is concerned. So that is why we've got to have all this list, and then only we develop what is called environmental policy for this company. We have done this in all our other earlier videos, and we start to have the company can now develop their objective. What are their environmental objectives? From then, from the dashboard, from the list of environmental aspects impact register, they would now develop specific targets and how to arrive that those targets, bullseye, specific. So it's got to be accurate. Then we have got to have the EMP, which stands for Environmental Management Program. And these are comprising of what is called intended outcome as stipulated by the latest Environmental Management System Standard version 2015. And we have this company, or we have to indicate our commitment somewhere in the targets reflected in the EMP. What? Our endeavor, our commitment for the enhancement of environmental performance is not just stagnant. It's a continuous improvement, if not continual improvement of our environmental performance. And we have got to state also in the targets and the EMP reflecting our fulfillment for compliance obligation, and also The targets, especially the EMP, must reflect our seriousness, our commitment in achieving those environmental objectives that we have set. This is a very important thing. Auditors can ask us using various types of questions, left and right, top and bottom, in order to see whether we are consistent with our environmental objective. So I hope that is clear. Now, this is how we arrive to this particular environmental aspects that we are evaluating, and this time we want to evaluate this particular environmental aspects in terms of environmental performance. And we have done this video in an earlier. You are welcome to look at and browse at all those earlier videos whereby we explain why these environmental aspects, those in highlights yellow, why are they environmental aspects, and how we determine their respective environmental impacts over here in this video. Please check it out. And also we use the identification of its respective environmental impact by virtue of looking at its life cycle perspective. There is already a video published for you. Now we are here. Let's choose. I'm sorry for the spelling mistake. Let's choose this environmental aspect, smoke emission. Pardon my English, okay? Spelling rather. Oh, I did well in school spelling, but not anymore. I think typo error is all man. Please excuse me for that. Now we are here to look into the environmental performance for this particular environmental aspect, which is smoke emission. So we have got risks and opportunities as well that we have got to look at. And there you are. It is blank. So let us take a look. What are their respective environmental performance evaluation by using EPE indicator or environmental performance evaluation indicator, which is over here. One is MPI, which represents management performance index, performance. OPI, which represents operational performance index. If you're working in companies, you know what this means. Or ECI, environmental condition index. ECI is huge. We are supposedly, well, in ecological studies, we use environmental conditions by means of looking at their respective bioindicators. It could be botanical in nature, it could be zoological in nature. I'm not going to go into that, don't worry, because not everybody would be able to apprehend ecological sciences. I make it simple for you, don't worry. Now, this is by far the data that we have. And what we do is, data and information are important criteria in order for us to do environmental performance evaluation of a particular activity and for all the activities in this company. So there's a lot of information that we got to gather on site, especially when we are doing consulting for this particular company. It takes time. We need all the best people to be around as a consultant, and we got to be able to detect and know what to look for. Okay, but I'm giving you a very simple example here so that you have an idea, actually the holistic idea, what I'm trying to get at. What is ISO 14031 is about? Environmental performance evaluation. Therefore, rule of thumb, number one, data. And the data must be representative. So listen carefully. We are now doing an activity, remember? It's not the whole factories, you know. It's not the whole factory activity. It's not representing the whole factory. Only one activity. What is it? Diesel transfer. And we are evaluating only one of the environmental aspects, which is smoke emission. Not from the factory's boiler. No, this is a diesel transfer, a contract outsourced supplier of diesel coming in with a diesel-powered engine lorry, which emits smoke. We are doing that evaluation. So, what are the data that we have that could represent this activity is listed here. And when we look at it, not every data that we have is representative to the smoke emission from that outsourced lorry supplier in this particular activity, which is diesel transfer. So what we have is only this. And I'm just giving an example. When you go out there and do this, go in detail. All the records, purchase records, these are important data for you to do environmental performance evaluation. So look, contract supplier lorry. This is an outsource function for this company. The management outsource, the finance outsource. So it is one data representing management performance index. And this outsourcing is for the supply of diesel to the company for the company's operation. And it is part of the operational norm for this company. So that is representative for the operation performance index. So we just write down MPI, OPI, one data for MPI now. And it is done monthly. And this is a financial decision of the management. So it's a management performance index. It's a commitment of the management, the financial controller. Of course, the finance department is obliged to call this particular supplier to come on a regular basis, which is monthly. It's a commitment. So that's MPI, management function, finance. And when on a monthly basis, it is part of the operation of this particular factory to take in diesel fuel for their purpose, for their use. Okay, that's operational performance index. And this user forklifts and machines is not related to the smoke emission from the lorry, so they skipped this one is related, this one is related. Okay, I'll just highlight it for you. Now, diesel fumes detectable within 5-meter radius. Well, the presence of diesel transfer is nothing to do with smoke emission really, but it is diesel due to the presence of this activity, diesel transfer. We can take that, or we can choose not to take that as our EPE data. But since the data is a bit austere as far as environmental performance evaluation is concerned, I decided to take it in. So diesel fumes is an operations performance index, score 1. One data for OPI, and fumes detectable, meaning it is in the atmosphere, in the air. It is an indicator of pollution. So we have got one ECI over here. I hope we are able to follow. I'm sorry, I've got to make it snappy, otherwise the video is going to be too long. And no complaint on smell, diesel, nothing to do with smoke emission, no fire, nothing to do with smoke emission. What about exhaust smoke? Not visible. This is got something to do with this directly, and exhaust smoke is occurring during the operation of diesel transfer. So one operational performance index over there, and not visible is actually an indicator of pollution, an indicator of environmental conditions. So we take that in as one ECI over there. Got it? And fuel transporter operational permit. This is clearly operational performance index. And quantity is not monitored. No. Overconsumption, nothing to do with smoke emission, natural leakage, nothing to do with. We have done it earlier, this one. So this is by far what we have as far as data applicable for the diesel transfer that we picked from that particular transfer activity and related, and only a few can be used in environmental performance evaluation. The rest is not related to smoke emissions, environmental aspects to reflect it and its environmental performance. So let's take a look. What have we? So as far as management performance indicators is concerned, I have listed a very simple criteria, a scoring technique for management performance. And number 1 is absolutely the best, and number 6, ignoring against all EMS methods, negative. If you have or you come across any management which is ignoring environmental work, environmental commitment, I give them negative, ignoring. Okay, but in this case, well, the way that we look at it, moderate supports, yeah, and involvement in EMS, normal, nothing to brag about. So, so they've got score of 4. Here is 4. The score, both of them is 4, so 4, and 2 data only is available. All right, so 4 times 2, simple arithmetic, and divided by 2 data, so the score is 4.0. Okay, simple, isn't it? So but despite being simple, it is representative in the end. We have used this over and over and over again, and it has never failed me by far. So this is talking about operational performance indicators. What have we? You can pause, you can take screenshot. I'm not sure. This is done before you, and look, causing and cause failure of the operation is a minus when the operation failed. I have to give up minus, not 0. Regular incompliance is 0. So for the diesel transfer and for the smoke emission family, there are overall compliance. Nothing to, meaning, what does it mean? There is a lot of opportunity, a lot of room, a lot of space left for what? Improvement. So 5 of the data, all scoring 4, multiplied by 5, no change with that, and divided by 5 data. So back to square one. Okay, so they're not really, um, and this is a problem when data is inadequate. All right, and well, because the diesel transfer, not many people pay attention to it because they don't see it. I picked this because these are quite remote and not so oftenly discussed. So I'm discussing it in this video for your apprehension. Okay, and what have we got for the environmental conditions indicator? There you are. We have got spills. No, really. This is talking about smoke emission. And as far as the smoke emission from diesel transfer, look, pollutants transform into usable products. How much score do I give that? It could be pollutant, could be waste into usable product. Tip-top, top-notch. I would love to see that, and pollutant, well-contained, controlled, disposed. Okay, all right. Remote incidence of spills, 4, and regular incidence of spill releases, so bad, doesn't score much. So surrounding evidence of public complaints, oh my, minus. So for this particular case, they got 2 score, which is some spillage, releases of smoke, and that emission is not controlled at all, because the fact that the engine is running, when we were talking to them, my committee mentioned that the fact that the engine is running, and they got to rely on the engine power, and that's not good for the environment. So this caused 0. So we gave them 0 for that. So 2, 1 time of 2, and 1 time of 0. You add them up, divide by 2 data, then you get 1. So that is how they perform. In terms of an environment, what? Smoke emission from the diesel transfer work. All right, so it is considered as a raw mat for this particular factory. They need to use the fuel, and apparently what they have is, even though they are not that significant in terms of the environmental, what you call aspects, uh, their management performance index is 4, operational performance index is 4, environmental condition index. I'm sorry about this. So from the rate, so what we have over here is the EPE ranking. Apparently, we will look into the dashboard again, and as what we have here, they score 3. All right, and what we have is, there you are. Oh, there you are. The scoring is there. There you are. Here, 3, which is just fair. And it is true enough, all right? So apparently they have got risks and opportunities uh, decided, and and this smoke emission is an offensive pollutant. That is the risk, and for this particular activity, which is diesel transfer, and opportunity. There you are. They have decided to stop the engine to find ways so that the diesel engine of the lorry is stopped, and the pump, from our discussion of their proposal when we were there those years, they decided to give instruction to this particular supplier of diesel to have an additional pump which is battery operated, and the battery is charged by the diesel engine, a separate battery, not the lorry's actual battery, separate, and can be charged while the lorry is on the move, meaning the engine is running, charging the, what you call it, alternator, and charges the battery. And during the transfer of diesel fuel, they rely on the power from that battery, which is very good. The moment they arrive to the factory, they stop the engine of the lorry, no emission of diesel, not even noise, vibration, because those aspects I didn't include it there. And they switch to the battery power, which is good for this company. That is the purpose of having risk and opportunity. It is all going to be part of planning actions. And after that, the EMR, the committee, take up all these planning actions and distribute instructions or operational procedures to respective operations, or including, in this case, outsourced contractor. These are environmental aspects that they cannot control directly, probably can, but can definitely influence by having a clause in the purchase order that the moment the lorry reaches this factory, they got to stop the engine and transfer the diesel without using vehicles' engine power, instead additional auxiliary independent power source. Wonderful, isn't it? So this is environmental management, and this is a benefit for the company in terms of business. The contract lorry spends less money on diesel. Got it? This is how environmental management can be used to increase or sustain what we call it, our business margin. And the next video probably will look into another environmental aspects in this case, and I will keep you updated. Thank you very much. The next video we might be doing another activity, still doing the evaluation, probably schedule waste storage, probably industrial effluent treatment system. You can give comments what you would like me to cover. Until we meet the next video, I wish everybody all the safe, healthy and prosper, and until we meet the next video, I wish everyone assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.